Blessings and peace to you. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is August 2nd, 2022. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. So make sure that you are maintaining your thought life and just keeping your focus on the things that are positive and good. It's been a little while since I did an episode, so I am back today, and my co-host today is Jaki Draper. We are going to talk about self-love and infidelity. Unfortunately, we live in a society where people cheat on one another, people betray one another, and people sometimes just don't treat one another right. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, I would like to remind you, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App $SB Favor. I thank you so much for your support and your donations. And if you are out there traveling about, make sure you wear your mask when you need to and do the things to protect yourself, because now there's other things going on in society that pertains to viruses, monkeypox, COVID. We got to protect ourselves. We got to do what we need to do to protect ourselves and protect our family members. And so just be aware and conscious of your environment. Wear your mask, wash your hands, do what you have to do to protect yourself. I always remind you of this because I care. So I hope that this episode is something to inspire you and something to just make you think. How you doing, Jackie?
Hello, good. I'm having a nice day. How about you?
Yes, my day is very productive, and anytime you have a productive day is a lot to be thankful for, right? So,
yes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about self-love and infidelity. You know, I've been having conversations with friends about, you know, the whole cheating thing and why people cheat, why people do what they do. Not just the cheating thing, but betrayal, you know, friendships. Because sometimes people think, you know, infidelity or disloyalty only is a part of partnerships, marriages, and romantic relationships. But, you know, things can go haywire in friendships as well. So we're going to talk about that overall. Infidelities, self-love, and disloyalty. All those things, you know, tie in together. What do you think about why sometimes people stay with someone that is disloyal?
Well, first, I believe that the people that are the most disloyal to us are the people that we've trusted the most. Mm-hmm. And we love these people. Mm-hmm. So we want to believe in them. Mm-hmm. We want to believe in them as a person. We also want to believe in ourselves.
Right.
So in order for me to accept that this person betrayed me, I have to also believe that I believe something wrong about this person. I can't trust myself. I can't trust my own judgment. I didn't see the forest for the trees.
Wow.
So it's not only not seeing them, not wanting to believe in them as being a good person, but also wanting to trust yourself. Because once you walk away from that, then now you're met with the next person.
Right.
And you're like, how, if I was so wrong about that person,
right,
how am I going to know when I'm going to be right about the next one?
Interesting. Very interesting. That's a good one, because I think a lot of us, we judge things based upon what we've gone through in the past. And unfortunately, we don't give the next person an opportunity. But I think that we should judge what is wrong. But first and foremost, we have to love ourselves the right way in order to love others, in order to see others through a positive lens. And so it's important to see what you see, know what you know, and don't deceive yourself. Wow, Jackie, that's something to think about. That's something to think about, because a lot of people do that. You know, they they justify, they justify why people do things because they don't want to accept the truth, right? What do you think about that?
Right.
It's right in front of them, and they don't want to accept it for what it is, and they don't accept the truth. But I go back to self-love, because I think that when you love yourself, right, what happens is everything around you, your friends, your family, your co-workers, you project something that's good, and you literally teach people how to treat you. And I'm not saying that people are going to treat you perfectly, but what I'm saying is you put out that good energy, that good spirit, so that what you put out, it comes back to you. And that starts with self-love. What do you think of that?
Exactly.
What do you think of that?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I think, though, at least in some of my experiences, that
mm-hmm.
we put all this trust in the other person,
mm-hmm.
and when they betray us, we'll make excuses for
Wow.
that betrayal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they didn't mean to do it, or they were in a bad situation, and maybe those things are true too, though.
Right.
It's not, I don't think that people always are, out to get you
right.
when they hurt you.
Right.
We're all human. We
mm-hmm.
all make mistakes, and we all have flaws. We're not talking about necessarily like cheating on a marriage. We're talking about feeling betrayed in
mm-hmm.
a relationship in general.
Yeah, I mean...
which can happen in many different shapes and forms.
Yeah, I think that, my daughter always talks about expectation. She says, Mom, when you have a high expectation of people, it leads to disappointment. So don't have such a high expectation. I mean, she wasn't correcting me, but she was just, we were just kind of talking about it,
general,
right?
yes.
Yeah. And so when she said that, I said, that's interesting, because I think that if we just see people for who they are, if you're in a relationship with them, if it's a friendship or marriage, if we just see people for who they are, good, bad, and indifferent, and we understand the process of learning to love, then no matter what a person does, we can love ourselves, right, to love others. Because that's the order of love. We must love ourselves to love others. Love God, love ourselves, and love others. And so that being said, I think that we just have to see people for who they are. And even when there are issues, we have to extend grace, I think that there are levels to betrayal and disloyalty and infidelities. I think there's levels to it. And so
absolutely.
Yeah. So it depends on the level for me personally, because if you steal from me now, if you steal from me, that's a high level right there, right? Because first thing I'm thinking is, okay, now why did this person steal?
Right.
Now that's different. But if it's something like a disagreement, or maybe one of us was having a great day or something like that, or the next person, is going through something, I think that we should always extend grace to one another and see outside of ourselves to be more inclined to help the next person, because I just believe that we're all connected to help one another, right? So.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when
mm-hmm.
in your lower level of feeling hurt or betrayed
mm-hmm.
by a friend or lover
mm-hmm.
or someone you're in a close relationship
mm-hmm.
with, you can feel, you can internalize it and feel like that they did this to you, that this is something about you personally, which leans on your self-love thing, that, why would this person do this to me? What did I do? Am I lacking in these areas?
Right.
When in fact, their behavior is a reflection of themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes when we're in the middle of all of this,
mm-hmm.
we'll forget and we'll think that it's about us, when it really has nothing to do with us and has everything to do with a state that person is in at that time.
Yes, a character flaw. Absolutely. I mean, all of us know someone that does the same thing to everybody. All of us know someone, right? All of us know someone that have been in multiple relationships and marriages, and they have done the same thing to each person. All of us know somebody like that. And so, again, like you said, that has something to do with that individual. That's a character flaw. That's something from within that they are dealing with, and not necessarily the people that they've done the harm to. So, yes, I agree 100% that we have to be careful with that. You know, when people do things, say things, mistreat us in any kind of way, we have to be careful to know that it's not always us as individuals. It could be the person that's dealing with that issue, and that is how they treat everybody, right? But self-love is essentially important, because if you don't love yourself, if we don't love ourselves, then we don't have the capacity to love the next person. And although, you know, society, you know, they preach, oh, self-love and Zen this and peace this and love that. But in actuality, people are not loving themselves in a healthy way. And that is why they are not loving others the right way. So everything.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think a lot of times you can see where people have a hard time loving themselves, where they're jumping from relationship to relationship with these people who are mistreating them.
Yes.
Because they're looking for love outside of themselves, and they're looking for with it the wrong people.
Absolutely. And they can't identify what love really is. And so the infidelity goes into when they partner up with somebody that's not faithful. That makes it even worse, because the infidelity starts to become something that person sometimes even thinks they deserve, because they're not loving themselves, right? Isn't that something? When a person thinks they deserve it, you know, that's crazy. You know, I heard somebody say that.
They're not good enough on some level.
Yeah. And we're not supposed to think that way. Everything begins and ends according to how we think. If we are thinking the right way about ourselves first, right, then we have the ability to think the right way about others. You can always tell how people think about themselves according to how they think about others. Because if they project a lot of negativity to others, then it's clear that they are thinking that way about themselves. Because, you can't do one without the other. You just can't.
Right.
You just can't.
Yeah.
You know,
I see that.
If I have conflict on any level, right, the first thing I do, right, is I check me, because I love me, right? And then once I check me, then I check the situation to see what can be done to rectify it, right? And like I said a minute ago, there are levels to it. So it depends on what that person has done, because I don't like to partner up with liars. I don't like to partner up with cheaters. I don't like to partner with people that steal. Of course, we all don't, right? But like you said earlier, some people don't see the oil in the water, right? You know, it's really obvious to see oil in the water, because you know they don't mix it. You know, the oil floats on top of the water.
Right.
So some people don't see the oil in the water. They don't want to see it, right? So they justify it. But it starts with self-love, people. You know, we gotta project something good about ourselves to teach people how to treat us, and we got to project something good about ourselves so that we can project something good about others. Because
I think we also ourselves, for instance, me as a friend, as a lover, as a when my relationships with people, when I'm having a problem with myself, I withdraw.
Yeah, I do that too.
And my kids are grown now, but I will withdraw, and I will only, especially when I had my children living with me, but even now that they don't live with me, I will focus on them. I just, I'll call my kids every day. And I won't talk to other people. I just kind of withdraw from everyone when I'm having my own internal problems.
Right.
Other people will not withdraw, but they'll lash out at their friends and the people that they care for. You know,
yeah.
I've had friends that are like that, where they, you know, they don't withdraw, but you can see a change in their personality whenever they have something wrong.
Yeah.
And you just have to, you know, if this is a person that's close to you, you just have to understand that obviously they're going through something, and it's not me, it's them. You know, I have to be understanding.
Right.
I can't take this personally.
Exactly, because we don't know.
But we need to be cognizant of the type of friend and relationship that we are contributing as well.
Right, because we don't know what the next person is going through.
What the others are contributing to us.
Exactly.
Yes.
We don't know what the next person is going through, and it's good and healthy to be sensitive to the next person, just to have some understanding, right? Even if you don't know what it is that they're going through. If you could just be sensitive enough to be connected, to have some level of understanding, to think, okay, this person is going through something. This is not how they normally act. Okay, I got to extend them grace, you know. But that self-love thing is important. It's important to me because I just think that we live in a society where people just have the wrong interpretation of what love really is, because I tell my sister and my siblings all the time, when you love somebody, it doesn't mean that every day is going to be perfect.
Right.
No matter what kind of relationship it is. There is not one perfect relationship, because conflict comes to help us to grow. And I told my brother yesterday, do not run from conflict. Don't run. Because if you run from it, I believe that God's going to take you right back around the corner again to that same thing, so that you can grow, because we all have to grow. We have to grow.
Oh my gosh. I so agree with that. It's like sometimes I'm in a situation, I'm like, why is this happening to me again?
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a lesson I already learned. And obviously I didn't learn it.
It comes.
But yes, I've had periods of my life where I'm like, how did I get here? How did I let this happen?
Yeah.
What am I doing? What's going on?
Yeah, it comes back around the corner to give you what I call an illumination of knowledge. And if we don't get it the first time, then it comes right back around the corner again. It's almost like living the same way on the same day the next year. Right. And that's kind of crazy. Yes. But yes, that can happen. And so what happens is
I'm
this.
with you on that.
When something happens, right, this is what we're supposed to do. When something happens, we're supposed to immediately, and I know a lot of people don't do this, but we're supposed to immediately ask ourselves this question: what can I learn from this? Right? And no matter what it is, if we ask ourselves that question, then we can easily identify with that issue once it comes back to us again. Because when it comes to us again, then we'll have a different reaction, a different response. But because some people don't learn the lesson, they end up acting the same way they act before. So that's why they got to keep repeating the lesson. See, all of us are in a process, and some people don't believe that. Some people think they're just living just to live. But guess what? God says, I reign upon the just and the unjust, meaning that God, He is interested in all of us progressively learning how to grow, whether you believe in Him or not. Look, if you're breathing air right now, God is interested in helping you to progressively grow. And when conflict and life issues happen, it is an opportunity to grow. It is not an opportunity to be in a place of unforgiveness, bitterness, hatred. No, it is an opportunity for us as individuals to grow. Don't blame it on the next person and say, oh, they always doing this to me. Because as soon as a person says, they always doing this to me, Jackie, that's a victimization attitude. Because conflict and situations and circumstances are opportunities for us to grow. And that all ties into, like I said, loving yourself to deal with betrayal, disloyalty, infidelities. Why? Because when you love yourself, you can teach people how to treat you. And you do it by how you react, what you say, and how you respond. But if we don't love ourselves, if we don't understand that the journey of life is about the process to learn, if we don't understand that, then we'll walk around thinking that everybody's supposed to just treat us good all the time. And yes, we're supposed to project something that is good and something positive. But because we all have different types of human flaws, we can't live in a fantasy and think that everybody's just going to treat us perfect all the time. You just can't.
Right.
But infidelity in marriage and relationships. When people tolerate certain levels of infidelity, certain levels of betrayal, certain levels of disloyalty, I think, Jackie, that they're not loving themselves if they are tolerating certain levels of it. Some things you can tolerate because, like I said, you can extend grace. But I think certain levels, just because you're married, you shouldn't allow somebody to abuse you, right, Jackie?
Absolutely. I think though, when we're talking about something like a marriage, for instance, and you have one of the partners cheats, like goes outside of the marriage for sexual reasons, then I think the other person, I think society tells us, oh no, automatically you gotta leave the relationship. It's over, divorce time.
That's true.
We're done. But when you're in that moment, you know, you built your whole life around this relationship. You expected to spend the rest of your life with this person. You're not just losing the relationship you're in the moment. You're losing your hopes and dreams for your whole life.
Yeah.
So I think that people will stay, and people will try to work it out and try to get through it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot vested here. And this is a person that you trusted with your whole life more than anyone in the world in a lot of situations. And you don't want to believe that they would do this again, or that, you know, and a lot of people will say once a cheater, always a cheater. And that could be the case. Yeah. And maybe not. Maybe the person did learn their lesson. Right. I don't know. Every case every situation is a case by case situation. Yeah. But when you're in the heat of that moment, to just advise someone you got to walk away, you can't know that until you're in the situation.
That's true. I think that everyone in that type of situation, I think that every person should learn, I should say, about how to extend grace in that type of situation, because it like you say, it's a case by case situation. Personally, I think that I understand a little bit about it in terms of extending that grace. And I say a little bit because I have gone through things where I was committed to someone and they just messed up.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't married, but they just messed up. And so I think that, once again, you know, it's a personal issue. That person could have a serious personal issue. And they have to work it out. It has nothing to do with the person that's being cheated on. But the person that's doing the cheating has the issue. And like you said, if it's a one-time deal, you know, I can see, you know, a person getting help and trying to work through it. But I think that for some people that just stay there, I think that's a form of emotional abuse. Because I know people, they've been married for forever and they just cheat. You know, it's just a whole marriage of just infidelity. And I just think it's just a piece of paper if that's going on. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, I agree. Now, for me personally, I've been through it. I stayed for 5 years. And I don't believe he would have ever, I believe that he learned his lesson. He would never do it again. I believe that with all of my heart. Yeah. I believe if we were still together today, he would never have done it again. But the healing process from the moment it happened to the moment I left, that 5-year period, like you're talking about the self-love, I disintegrated.
Wow.
I disintegrated. I disintegrated so much that I felt nothing after all those years.
Wow.
I equated it at the time that, like, if you got shot with a bullet and you left it in your arm
Jesus.
and never took it out.
Whoa.
And the skin just grows up around it and it just festers and rots and gets infected and to the point where you got to cut your arm off.
Oh my. Wow.
So I just, I ignored it is what I did. I just ignored it and tried to move on with my life.
Wow.
And it's just not the kind of thing that you can ignore.
No, you can't.
You just can't. It changes you as a person.
Yeah.
And I disintegrated it to such a level that, I could never be the same person again.
I think that when it happened to me, I took a dip. Like, it was brief. It was very brief. I took a dip in my my self-esteem. It was just like a dip, and then all of a sudden I said, "Whoa."
You're like, I'm not this person. Who is this I'm looking at in the mirror?
Right. I just like, once I found out this person was this individual was doing the cheating, right? I felt myself taking it. I actually felt myself taking a dip out emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And all of a sudden I literally said, "Whoa." I said, "Whoa." And I said, I got to make sure I cut this person off. It was like a disease that was trying to come on me. And I cut that person off. And when they tried to come back, I said, nope. This is about loving myself at this point. And because I cut that poison off, I was able to live. That dip that I was feeling, that represented something in my spirit that was not healthy. And because I know who I am, and because I know I flow a certain way with God in my spirit, in my prayer life, I knew in that moment, like, wait a minute, hold up, wait. No. No. And I said it like that because, see, I was raised like that. My mom and dad was divorced when I was young, very young. And one of the things my mom would say to me as a young girl is, she would say, you make sure by all means you do not take nothing off of a man when it comes to mistreatment. You stand up for yourself. She would say things like that to me and my sisters. And we would just look at her like, what's she talking about? Well, she was really talking about my dad, right? And so I carried that with me. And so when it comes to loving myself, thank you, God, it's so important to make sure that you do it enough to make sure you're not tolerating garbage. Make sure you're not accepting mess from friends, family members, romantic relationships, marriages. Let me tell you, when you love yourself, you can project the best for yourself, because self-love is God's love. Let's say that again. Self-love is God's love. It's not arrogance. It's not conceit. It is not haughtiness. It is not pride. It is the love of God. When we love ourselves, because that love that we have from Him, we can give it out to others. And we have the ability to do that when we love ourselves. And so we don't have to stay in abusive relationships. We don't have to stay in messy sewage-like friendships. And I use the word sewage because that's nasty, right? It stinks. So we don't have to tolerate those things. We can forgive and extend grace where we should extend grace. But remember, we have to make sure we love ourselves first, and we make a decision to extend grace, and we make a decision to forgive, and we make a decision to go on with a healthy relationship because of the love that we have for ourselves. Don't sit in denial when you know something and see something, people. Don't sit in denial and say, oh no, like you said, Jackie. Some people like, no, I didn't know, that really didn't happen. We can't do that.
Right.
We can't do that. We have to love ourselves, because when we love ourselves, we can have healthy relationships. We can have quality-filled relationships to the point where we just have more joy and more peace. And before I say anything else, I just want to say to you, Jackie, I just think that you are a genuine, pure person. You're not perfect. But you are a genuine, pure person. And I just wanted to say that to you because, doing this podcast, we're just keeping it real, people. Me and Jackie have gone through ups and downs, in our conversations. We have misunderstandings, and we've had misunderstandings in the past. But one thing I can say about you, and this is what God allowed me to learn about you, is that you are a genuine, pure-hearted person. When you mean well, you truly mean well, and I know that about you. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you. I definitely do. I definitely try to be as transparent of a person as possible. But I think that it's important for my journey on this earth.
Yes.
For my soul to be a genuine and transparent person.
Amen. And that's beautiful. And we all can be that if we truly love ourselves. Yeah. Yes, we can be that.
And hopefully that helps other people feel comfortable being genuine and transparent. I think a lot of people aren't comfortable being genuine and transparent. People are afraid of being judged, and people are afraid of being rejected. I mean, I'm afraid of being judged and rejected also, but I have to believe that I'm a worthy person.
Yes, because you love yourself. Yes, you love yourself.
As long as my intentions are always good intentions, I would never do anything bad or mean or hurtful to anyone intentionally by any means.
Exactly.
So, and I feel like I surround myself with people who call me out on it whenever I do things that are not nice, that I might not notice that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I can be matter of fact. Mm-hmm. And I can come across at times in conversations with people as unfeeling, but it's I'm very pragmatic also. So sometimes in the way my mind thinks, I'm not on that emotional side. So I can come across as hurting people's feelings from time to time. And I feel like I have the type of friends that will call me out on it.
Yeah, I mean, we all can do that because we all sometimes have misunderstandings with each other, right? That's just human, being human. But we can love ourselves, and that's why I wanted to talk about this topic, because it's important for us to make sure that we are not tolerating garbage in our relationships on all levels. We have to love ourselves to love others. We have to love God first, love ourselves to love others. That's the order of love. And if you disagree with that, just check yourself, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. It's real. I'm telling you, it's real. Because in love, there is healing, and God is interested in helping us to heal, because we've all gone through different things in relationships. And so loving yourself, extending grace, and to deal with any kind of infidelity or betrayal, you don't have to, be subject to bitterness and unforgiveness. And so I hope that this topic helps somebody, Jackie. It's a lot going on. So I just wanted to talk about that. And we're going to wrap it up. And we thank you, listeners, for tuning in to listen to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. Jackie, you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think we covered it.
All right. So, listeners, I appreciate you so much. Make sure you please share the podcast with others. And if you would like to donate to this podcast and support it in any kind of way, please send all donations to Cash App, $SB Favor, or please contact me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I also have a TikTok handle. There is motivational and inspirational content there. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please click like, leave me some feedback, and also please share the podcast with others. You can also subscribe to me anywhere podcasts are heard. I'm on several media outlets, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, Apple, so many. So just Google me. You'll see SB Favorite Thinking Podcast somewhere, wherever you listen to podcasts. I appreciate you listeners for taking the time out to tune in. And please, once again, share this podcast with others. We will be doing more episodes soon. I do have some episodes coming up this week, and Jackie will be back again. We're going to do one next week. And so please, once again, leave me some feedback. Your feedback is important to me. And also your donations are important because we are expanding. So like I said, share the podcast with others and give at Cash App, $SB Favor on Cash App. All right. Thank you so much. And you have a good day.